So it's been a minute since we have filmed a project that I've showcased to you guys a little bit with 212 Benefits and What the Health. It's a podcast weekly. We've been doing it now for about a year and a half, and we just went on a month hiatus, and we're back. Alright, now that we've got all the gear in here, it's been a while, so it's going to be a little bit of an interesting setup because I haven't done it. But here it is. This is the room you can see here in about, I'd say 45 minutes. I want to put a timer on to actually see how long it takes me to set up. But yeah, this will go from this conference room into a podcasting kind of studio setup. And we'll be recording for roughly 48 minutes, 3 cameras, audio. I'll be running it all, plus participating in the actual interview. So here's the setup.
So to kick things off, typically I like to get the lighting set up first, really because that just gives me a full kind of understanding of what's going on in the room itself, and I also know that I can kind of set up cameras and build from there. Now we started off with the key light, which then after that we move into our cameras, that being the Lumix S5 2X, the Lumix S1 Mark II, and you can kind of see that we're just putting on monitors and things of that nature. And then we stroll into audio, which is going to be all XLR inputs, and we've got a combination of Movo mics and Rode mics, all going into our audio setup, the Zoom H6. Now last but not least, I then use our, I guess you could just say fun lights, our RGB color that's coming from 2 Molis X60s, and those are going to be our last lights, and then I'll pop on cameras and figure out how everything looks.
Alright, so I officially put a timer on myself this go around because I wanted to get a gist for how long it took me to actually set up everything that you guys are seeing here. Now, I don't have cameras on right now because we're just kind of letting them just chill. No need to kill battery or anything like that. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and flick them on so you guys can get a little bit of a sense for what we're doing here. And if you're wondering, we've got Panasonic Lumix S1 Mark II. V-mount battery, newer, nothing special. Got Condor Blue wiring, USB-C power for the Viltrox monitor. We've got the 24-260 f2.8. We'll be shooting 4K, 10-bit, 24 frames per second. Nothing that special. Actually, we might even go shoot 8-bit. I forget about that. Sometimes I shoot 8-bit because the files are just smaller. You guys can see over here we have 2 microphones. Now, typically we would just have one guest, so we'd have Movo mic. And then today we have the Rode mic going into the Zoom H6, the new Essentials model. We'll talk about that here in a second. And then our host, Eric Ross, will have the Movo mic XLR out running around here. As far as some lighting, got a little light down here. We've got some light being spilled from the Molis X60. Nothing too powerful, but it kicks some blue light there, which is nice for branding. As we make our way to the middle, we have the Lumix GH5 with a fisheye 7.5 lens. This is great for tight spaces, and then I'll de-fisheye it in post. Now, one thing that gets a little crazy here, but it's fun, is our audio setup. The Zoom H6, we've got Eric and myself on the left side, channel 1 and channel 3. Then we'll have our guest, blue and red, so I'll know the 2 over there. And we'll be going into channel 2 and 4, giving it XLR power. You can see here, I've got an actual shotgun mic that I'll be using to talk to. I'll have my Sony headphones on so I can monitor all the audio. And then from here, I know they're not on. Well, let's see if that clicks on. But from where I'm at, I don't know if you guys can really see, this would be like my little station back here. And this gives me the ability to, I can see all my cameras, 1, 2, and 3 from the monitors. I'll be monitoring audio, and then I'll also be participating in the conversation. So that's kind of a view from my perspective, is I'm kind of like right here, kind of overseeing everything that's going on, being able to, you know, just make sure that everything's functioning properly. We've got power, USB-C power for the H6 that's running straight from down here. And then that pretty much sums up all the gear that'd be used outside of, we've just got some lights on the ground kicking up here. Just looks nice. And then similar, we've got the blue light spilling over here. Last but not least is the Molis X100 with the dome light Now, reason we go with the dome is so the light spills a little bit more. Sometimes I'd actually have a little black shield here so that we don't have light firing off into the wall, but this is not normally my boom arm setup. I actually have a nice one over there, but I forgot one of my freaking mounts. So today you can kind of see it's a little bit different, but we've got sandbags here for some weight, counterbalance it, make sure we're steady. We've got full-blown power, and then we've got some sandbags down here on our stands. So, 48-minute podcast, 3 cameras. Nope, yeah, 3 cameras. Sometimes we'll go behind the scenes with the GoPro, but sometimes it's just a little bit of an editing nightmare. But yeah, here in a couple of minutes, we'll start rocking and rolling. But that is pretty much a full-blown walkthrough from absolutely zero all the way to fully functional. 42 minutes. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of What the Health Just Happened, where we talk about all things healthcare, community, business, and life. The goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, and everything in between. We are so fortunate to have on a variety of guests way smarter than we are to share their industry expertise on all things, we'll say healthy versus not healthy in their industry, whatever we find. Today, Guardian Pharmacy, that's the name of the company, right? We have 3 people in studio, 2 of which are sitting on the microphones. Jessica Ross, tucked in the corner.
Shout out.
We'll see if she won't chime in at some point. Director of Sales and Marketing. She calls herself Director of Fun. We have President at Guardian Pharmacy, Christy McClelland.
Yep.
I said it right.
Yep.
And let's see if I can't butcher this one. Director of Customer Service and Relations, Jerry Tallarico.
Perfect.
Did I do it?
Absolutely
We
perfect.
said everything
perfect.
correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to What the Health Just Happened. We're excited to have you here. Let's party.
Great.
Where do we want to start? You want to start business or nonsense? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of What the Health Just Happened, where we talk about all things healthcare, community, business, and life. The goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, and everything in between. We are so fortunate to have on a variety of guests way smarter than we are to share their, industry and life expertise. Maybe laugh along the way. Today is no difference. I'm excited. I don't know if she is. I can't tell if she's nervous or she's very stoic right now. Frances Arflin. Did I get it right?
You did.
Outstanding. Chief Disruptor for Disrupt HR Jacksonville. Bachelor's in Psychology from UF.
Right.
That's pretty solid. And then a master's from Chicago School in Industrial and Organizational Psychology.
Yes.
So are you judging us all right now and over there just taking mental notes?
Yeah, the psychology degree comes in handy, at least to intimidate people.
It's
Even
working.
yeah.
I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah. I mean, you will never know what
That's good.
I'm diagnosing
That's
right
good.
now.
So we're going to talk a lot about Disrupt HR specifically to Jacksonville. Tell us your story. How did you end up falling into this? What do you love about it? Just start there.
Sure. Yeah. So just to go back to the beginning, as a psych major, which I did have a passion for, just learning about people, I had to quickly figure out what was I going to do with that. My last semester of undergrad, I took an IO psychology class. And I loved it. It really just kind of fit along with some of the other interests I had. And it was really lucky too, because I was at the end of my time. So I really needed to know what to do. And so I took the opportunity to study further IO psychology. Going to grad school was kind of the natural next step. At the time, there were not a lot of IO psychology programs. UF didn't have one at that point. They do now.
I thought you were raising your hand, Trey. IO stands for Industrial and Organizational Psychology.
Correct.
So when you say IO, I'm just making sure I got that right. Okay.
Yes. And also it's such a mouthful, so that, that's
it is.
what
IO,
I would
I got it.
Yeah. IO.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went ahead to pursue my master's degree. This program in Chicago was a great opportunity because it was a practicum-based program, meaning that, I'd have experience with adjunct professors who were in the workforce, and I'd be able to do internships and just a little bit more hands-on experience. So Chicago was a great place for it, and I loved the program. It was, after a few years up there, too cold. That's ultimately why I had to.
So I was going to say a couple questions. When you're finishing at UF, is that when you think, I'm going to go into HR? Or that was I'm going to continue the education, and then that's when the HR flip went off?
The HR thing, no. Not that. That would be a big hell no at that point.
Hell no.
It was never HR. I never thought of HR at that point.
Nobody does.